Good night, Tender No Caps. We're going to be bringing this game to you in just a second. We have everyone in the lobby. We just have to get the pick orders put together, and then we'll go on to the champion select screen. Netherare Man, by the way, has been reborn as Netherare Orc, aka a whole bunch of other names. He's also one of this team. Why Golly Why has two people on it that are notorious for name changes, and they are Mitsuru7 and Netherare Orc. They have also been Netherare Orc has also been known as Netherare Man and Naked Apron Plan and Lieutenant Pancakes and Meteor Scotch Couch, Third Volkswagen Jetta. Is this where I type it? And RP card. And Half-Hearted. He's also been known as Half-Hard with an L. And and Hefty Halfinch as well. He reminded me in the chat. Mitsuru7 has also been known as Katya _7, Sub Cutie, Mikaya, Mew Cutie, Tall Cutie, Blonde Cutie, Not Cutie, and what was the last one? Natalia. Or Kataya, and Kataya7 and Katia7 and Katya7 as well. I'm sorry, there's a lot of them. What the players do with their RP is, I have no say in it. But I also want to say, while we have a moment before this starts, I want to say happy birthday to Tyler, a.k.a. Asil. It is his birthday today. He's the guy who was majorly involved in putting on this entire production. And I want to say thank you for putting on this show and giving me an opportunity to come out here this weekend and do some commentary for you and promote LoLPro, because LoLPro is awesome. They have guides. You guys want to see some of these guides? I think they're pretty great. All you need to do is go to LoLPro.com. This is their main page here. And click on the Pro Guides section. LoLPro.com/guides. And here you can scroll down and you can look through all of the guides that we have made. And we have Dominion-specific guides. If you want to play Brand like Half-Hearted does, then there's a guide for that. There's one for Anivia as well, Annie. There's one for Ezreal. There's just so many champions, I can't even read them all. So if you want to learn about Dominion, learn how to build champions in Dominion, this is the place to go. LoLPro.com/guides. Go to their main page, click on Pro Guides, and it will take you to this area.
And we have
Yep, we have hit the champion select screen, and what are we looking at for bans right now?
So far we have a Kassadin ban and an Ahri ban. Now, once again, I don't really know too much about Dominion. I'm a Summoner's Rift guy myself, but just thinking about it as it stands, Ahri has quite a bit of mobility, a lot of assassination potential, and she can also catch people out really easily with charm, so I can see why she's worth a ban, but I think you can shed a little bit more light on that.
The Ahri ban is specifically against Mitsuru7. Mitsuru7 is an extremely good Ahri, Cat, and Shyvana player. And Ahri is a very powerful character. Another really good Ahri player is Confidarius of Paisive and Child Sport. So Ahri is really good, and she can be played competitively, but there's not a lot of people that are particularly good at her. Mitsuru7 happens to be particularly amazing at her, so they prefer to ban that character against her. Elise, Nidalee, Kassadin, and Lulu being banned as well. Elise is a fairly common ban. She's a durable AP character with a stun. Nidalee, long-range poke, and gives vision on the map. She's very difficult to deal with. The only way to deal with her traps is by not letting her put them down, which means you have to ban her. Kassadin has high mobility, a good silence. Lulu has multiple abilities that affect movement speed and health and crowd control. And Amumu has a lot of AoE damage, is a pretty awesome tank.
It looks like Careless is going to go ahead and already pick up Kha'Zix. He did slip through the banning phase, so it looks like we will have a fairly good game with him as well. I think Kha'Zix has been doing pretty well today, when he's not banned anyway. And that's really goes to the fact that he's very high damage, very assassin-y, and if he does end up picking up a kill, he's going to get he's going to get a reset on his leap, which gives him much more mobility. He can go in to kill someone else and get another reset, or he can disengage the fight at that point. So that's a very strong champion, and someone like Lulu is someone who can counter him a little bit by basically using her ultimate on someone who is being targeted by Kha'Zix. That will make him get knocked up. It'll prevent whoever it is from dying, so it'll prevent the reset. So he's without a jump, he's without that reset, and he's also not going to be able to kill whoever he does. He's not going to be able to escape from that. So very good ban for Lulu right there, even though it's sort of on the other team. But either way, we do see Wukong+Jayce picked up. Jayce also slipping through the banning phase as well.
Jayce is a character that we don't see too often because he eats as many bans as he does, so it'd be really interesting to see him, and I would not like a cat pick against that team. There's Maokai for the Arcane Smash, and you have Zyra with an Airborne as well, and if you don't pick Cat as sort of a last pick or a late pick, then it's really easy for people to counterpick that. They have 2 slots open to pick a champion that has an easily applicable crowd control in order to manage her ultimate.
No, Katarina isn't as dependent on her ultimate as she used to be. It used to be if you didn't get that ultimate off, she was almost a useless champion. It's not really the case anymore, although the ultimate certainly does help. If she cleans up a fight, she can still do quite a bit of damage with her refreshes, but at the same time, the CC really helps with that as well. If there's a twisted advance on a Katarina, she's not going to be able to shunpo to whoever she wants, and on top of that, even Kha'Zix, even though Kha'Zix doesn't have any hard CC for her, he can nuke her down really quickly, make it so that she doesn't want to jump in, or just kill her outright. So that's another thing where I don't know if the Katarina was really the best pick right there, and I'll quite agree with you to that point. Zyra is also a champion who can do that. Stranglethorns isn't an instant apply CC, but at the same time, she also prevents a lot of the positioning from Katarina as well. And Vayne pick, if they were to lock in Vayne, that would be a Condemn, another good form of CC to stop that ultimate, and on top of that, just put more CC down on her to make sure that she doesn't get any refreshes at all. Oh, wow, they're hovering over a Trundle, and we saw before Trundle is a pretty good lane bully, and he's also a very good duelist, so we'll see if they decide to go for that pick again.
Yeah, with Katarina, I've always found that her passive was what ended up dealing the most of her damage in team fights, because getting the resets for additional shunpos and being able to jump through an enemy team ended up dealing, at the end of a team fight, far more damage than her ultimate could do, unless her ultimate tagged 4 or more targets, which is usually unlikely because of how people scatter, and you can only really ever hit 4 typically in Dominion anyway. But her passive is absolutely brutal, and that's one of the things that we can see out of Katarina is there's a style of Katarina play where you pocket the ult, you don't use the ultimate, you just have the threat of using it, which forces the enemy team to hold on to a crowd control, which enables someone on your team to kind of play a little bit more freely, because they're saving that crowd control for an ultimate that might never happen. You might not use it at all, and they might save that crowd control and then not use it in the fight, and then fall flat on their face afterward. And then Katarina can just play poke with the blade, shunpo in, and run back out, and just sort of figure 8 through the fight, wait for resets, and deliver her damage that way, while saving that threat, hoping to force them into a particular response. And Katarina, with resets, is actually pretty tanky because of the damage reduction that shunpo gives. So with a little bit of HP on top of that, she can actually be pretty durable in a fight.
She could be, and I've seen people build Katarina to the point where they get a little bit more health and a little bit more resistances, because if she gets the resets, her base damages are still pretty high. You don't need to stack full AP the entire time. So that would be very interesting to see. But taking a look at the overall team comps, it looks like the
Xerath
Team Careless did pick up a Xerath, yes, and I think Xerath is the sort of widely known pronunciation of that. But he's a very strong champion in terms of the amount of poke he can do. He's one of the longest range champions in the game if he does decide to use... God, I'm blanking on the names of his abilities right now. Arcane... No.
There's a cheat mode.
Is his lighting script.
Four-Court Jester taught me. You just click on the name, the icon, and then you can mouse over the things. So you click on it, and it opens up the champion info page.
Locus of Power. Yes, it does. So go ahead and say if he uses Locus of Power, he gets more range than almost any other champion in the game, other than big global abilities, or say Lux's laser or something like that. So his entire kit can be used at that long range. So it's really strong for poke wars. It's really strong for denying caps. It's also really strong for zoning. So I'm really interested to see how the Xerath works. The biggest problem with him is that if he gets caught out while he's in Locus of Power, then he's going to take a lot of free damage, and there's nothing he can do about it. So I want to see how well he can position himself and how well he can burst down anyone on the purple team.
I'm looking at the other picks. Jayce. Jayce is a really good character, and I haven't actually seen him in a game in quite some time at this level of competition, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Jayce functions more in the ranged slot than in the bruiser slot, especially in that comp where they don't have a ranged AD. Jayce can serve that role pretty well, but you won't see him in ranged form throughout the entire fight. You will see him open up with some shots, move in, melee, disengage, fire shots, and kind of do a little bit of a back and forth thing like that, more so than actually stand and deliver ADC like you would see with Vayne or Ezreal or someone else like that. There is a fair amount of crowd control on the team, however. You have a solar flare, you have two stuns from Leona, you have an airborne from Nidalee Orc, and you have a knockback from Jayce, which creates a lot of situation where Katarina can actually deliver that full ultimate duration. And I think that Mitsuru 7 is a very talented cat player. I think we'll see some of that surgical precision on it. But the question is, who's going to go in the bottom lane? I actually feel like it might be Jayce that ends up down there. Jayce or Nyx. Nyx A7 is a bottom laner as well. Golly is a relatively new team that's made up of a lot of Dominion veterans, and they only recently have started competing as a group. So I don't know too much about the way they run their team comps typically, but Nyx has been a bottom laner, and Armor can bottom lane as well. And Jayce's bottom lane is pretty powerful.
Oh yeah, Jayce is basically one of those champions that's meant to be a lane bully in Summoner's Rift, in Treeline, in Dominion. He can shut out his lane pretty easily with the amount of versatility he has. He has a ranged form, he has a melee form, he has ranged poke, he has disengage, he has initiate. His acceleration gate helps him kite, it helps him drop back if he wants to retreat, it helps him initiate, it helps his team initiate. There are so many great things about Jayce. He's really deserving of a ban in not only Dominion but also Summoner's Rift, and we see him banned in both formats really, really often. So we could possibly see him in the bot lane because he is a lane dominator, but at the same time we could also see him top lane because he's a great team fighter and he puts out so much poke with an acceleration shock blast combo. So he could viably go either place. So we'll just have to see, and that really just proves my point of how he is a very versatile champion.
I'm just waiting for my loading screen to load so I can switch the scene back over to it. There we go. This is going to be the other semifinals match. This is going to be Clueless versus Golly. Clueless on the top part of the map. Commander Peoples playing as Maokai, Mad Portal playing as Zyra, Half-Hearted playing as Kha'Zix, BB Pop playing as Vayne, and Ro4 playing as Xerath. This is the LoLPro Dominion Showdown. I am one half of your commentators. I am Gandair, and co-commentating with me is
Azaraki Dragon. And taking a look at the lineup for the purple team, we have Wukong being played by Nidalee Orc / Nidalee Man / a lot of different aliases. A12Mo12 playing Jayce, Golly on Leona.
Oh, it's armor.
What?
It's armor.
Oh wow, it is armor.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
That caught me for months at first, so I had to bail you out on that.
Alright, thanks for that. And Mitsuru on Katarina, Nyx rounding it out with Vi. So, yeah, it just doesn't really look like armor, to be honest.
Yeah, it didn't to me.
When you first look at it,
because the two, it doesn't look like it just because of the font. If it was a different font, I think I would have seen it.
That's probably true. So we didn't really talk about the summoner spells too much. We have a clairvoyance on both sides, so both teams taking that route where they're going for that early sight option, where they can get it as a summoner spell right off the bat. And past that, everything is pretty standard. I don't really see anything too deviating from a normal. And Vayne did decide to take Flash. BB is going to have a pretty good time positioning himself with that Flash, and it's a pretty good summoner spell on Vayne.
Yes, Vayne is a character that Flash is very useful on. In Dominion, Flash is not usually a very good spell. However, if you are a raged AD carry that does not have an escape mechanic, like Fade, Forest, Ashe, and some other ones I'm probably forgetting, there's so many in the game, but if you do not have a built-in escape mechanic, then Flash is extremely helpful. Or if you have a weak escape mechanic, Caitlyn, for example, has a weaker escape mechanic, Vayne's is a little bit weaker. However, if you're Ezreal, you don't need one. If you're Urgot, you're really durable and don't necessarily need one.
Ooh, and it looks like we have a pause.
It looks like Half-Hard was having a little bit of a connection problem at the beginning there.
But I hear you have some pretty interesting things to talk about during pauses, so I'm pretty excited to see some of those.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to mention is Revive. For anyone that's new to the broadcast, anyone that's watching today, we haven't gotten to talk about this yet, but Revive is a commonly used spell, and you might be wondering why we see it in all of these competitive games that we've seen so far this weekend, because it gives you bonus health, gets you back onto the field faster, it allows you to capitalize on enemies' mistakes or recover from mistakes that you happen to make. If you're bottom lane, it helps you bail out your tower. If you lose in bottom lane, you can get back with Revive and not necessarily need your teammates to come down and sacrifice position top. And for an initial windmill fight, you can reinforce it faster. The only way really to counter Revive is with another Revive. And here's where the numbers get a little bit ridiculous. In 87.4% of competitive games, there are 8 or more Revives. That's 4 per team on average in 87% of games. And if you are a team without Revive, and you're up against a team with Revives, you only have a 4.7% chance to win, statistically, by competitive data.
Wow, that is a really, really large amount of wins, or small amount of losses for teams without Revive. So, I'm still pretty new to this, and so far today we've seen every single champion take Revive. Do you sometimes see, say, 4 champions take Revive and 1 take 2 other summoner spells? Because it seems a little bit weird to me. I don't know if a full Revive team is something that you see every single time.
Yeah, that's why I count it as 8 or more because you don't always see a full 10. If you're going for a very pure support build, which Mad Supportal, aka Mike, used to do earlier on in his competitive Dominion career, if you play more of a pure support, you can go Exhaust Garrison, or you can go Ignite Garrison, something like that instead. But you have to play, if you plan on playing really safe, or just the way that you play doesn't put you in harm's way too often. However, if you do have a Revive, you can play a little bit more aggressive with your support than you could otherwise. Also, if you are going to go Pooter's backcapping style gameplay, then you're going to want Ghost Flash, or you're going to want Cleanse Flash, something like that, if you're going to do very aggressive backcapping, because you will need that to be able to escape from skirmishes.
That's really cool. So, right now we're seeing a little bit of a poke war in the top lane, and Jayce does actually go top, and we're actually seeing Xerath head to the bot lane, so they're not going to be having that zoning power. Golly goes in for it and is actually taken down first, but a great initiation. BB is taken down extremely low. There goes the Ignite. He's going to be able to kill him. Nidalee taking up the kill right there, but it looks like he's just barely going to be able to kill Kha'Zix on top of that, and he might actually get it out of there. Jayce's truck, or acceleration gate, doing a great job of keeping him out of the fight and making sure that he disengages properly, and now he's going to try to kill Commander Peoples. He's taken down really low, but Bebop is back into it. He's tumbling, and there goes the final kill. Golly is now back into the fight really quickly, used Revive, and now back in the top lane, but they did successfully force out Clueless to the point where they can cap the windmill really easily.
And Half-Hard gets a bunch of free damage on Mitsuru 7 in the process, takes a Shock Blast for his troubles, unfortunately, and it just occurred to me that we have a Jayce against a Kha'Zix, or a Jayce against anything. So, for regular viewers of Dominion competition, you guys know what to do if Jayce pulls off the acceleration gate in and shot combo. So maybe we'll see some of that this game. Ro4 in the bottom lane, a little bit lower on health compared to Nyx 87. Confidarius coming down for a gank here, it seems, and Vi having used the Vault Breaker. We're going to see the stun from, yes, Xerath, and that's going to be a quick kill for Half-Hearted.
And a very quick kill it is, but Nidalee is now almost getting caught out, but it looks like the rest of his team has shown up. Commander Peoples is the one getting caught out, and that's going to be pretty bad for them. They're losing their tank on that fight. They don't have the map control that they would have if they were to have him, and it looks like they're going for a 4th point right now, trying to capture the refinery or just trying to pressure it out a little bit. Half-Hearted goes in for Mitsuru. He's got a lot of damage, but Mitsuru has the Storm Relic, so she's going to be able to survive through most of that damage right there, and Half-Hearted forced to try to chase up to that top lane, and it looks like we might see another fight for the windmill. This is certainly the point of contesting in this game. Matt's the Portal seeing if he can land something. A great snare would certainly initiate the fight. If they can get a lockdown on someone, BB-Bop on Vayne can put out so much damage with Silver Bolts, and it looks like he is once again maxing Tumble for that extra damage after he tumbles, as well as the amount of kite potential it gives you and escape potential.
Nidalee Orc coming around from the top. Solar Flare does not connect with a stun, unfortunately. Cyclone gets a couple of good airbornes, but unfortunately people were a little bit too far back to capitalize on that. Jayce a little bit too far away, didn't quite have enough mana to get in it and really start delivering his damage. The point being chipped away at by the minions. The tower slowly getting closer to neutral. Defensive Garrison to heal it back up a little bit. Is this going to stall long enough for him?
It might just do that, but unfortunately it's not going to work. Mitsuru just trying to pop his ultimate at the last second, trying to get people low for Nightmare Orc to try to clean up. He's going to Twisted Advance the decoy, and it looks like BB-Bop just barely able to tumble away from that, but Nidalee Orc is not done. He's going to go ahead and pick up the kill onto Zyra, and now chasing BB-Bop. He has a little bit more speed on his kit. Oh,
the Condemn!
Right after he used Nimbus Strike as well, he's going to be delayed from that extra movement right there, but the Crushing Blow is going to pick up the kill, but Commander Peoples doing a great Sapling Toss, able to pick up that as well, but Mitsuru tanking the tower as well as Commander Peoples going to have to be forced out of there really quickly.
If she had gotten in Twisted Advance range, that could have been really bad for her, but thankfully she was able to get away before he could actually use it. Armor heading back up towards the top part of the map now, and hanging around with Leona. It's always good to follow around your crowd control. If you are a more fragile character, follow your tank around. Follow your Amumu, your Leona, follow your Blitzcrank, follow someone who has a bunch of crowd control, follow someone who's durable, follow your Alistar. Do not get ahead. You see Katarina here as well. She meets up with the team, and she doesn't extend out further than that. Very safe play. I like that a lot, because Katarina is very fragile. She does not have a door to escape to.
And not only that, but she did decide to go for a full aggressive start. It doesn't have a Prospector's Blade, so it doesn't have the extra 200 health, or Prospector's Ring, or I should probably just say Prospector's Item at that point, but that will give her an extra 200 health, but unfortunately she doesn't have that, so she's even squishier than normal, but at the same time she does more damage, so if she can stay alive in these fights, then she's going to do pretty well. She's going to be able to get resets, but she's really going to have to make sure she stays careful. Commander Peoples, however, is the one who's about to get caught out. They don't have enough people to try to initiate on that as well, but oh no, Commander Peoples going to go towards their own base, but ooh, this is going to be initiate. Nidalee Orc going in for his ultimate, and it looks like the Stranglethorns is down as well, trying to knock people up. Nidalee Orc getting taken down by Half-Hearted. He's going to be able to get the refresh and leap out, but it looks like Xerath is here as well, putting out a lot of damage. However, Mitsuru and Vi are able to dive right into the backline and pick up a lot of those kills, but BB-Bop on Vayne able to pick up a couple of more kills on that as well, clean up a little bit, as well as Commander Peoples doing a lot of peel for her. That Maokai Vayne combo is almost unstoppable with the tank and the damage that they have right there.
And you saw it here. Katarina can Shunpo out to towers, something very important to note that hasn't come up yet in the tournament.
Oh wow, she can. So that, I don't know if she can do that in Summoner's Rift, but that's
no, she can't.
An interesting mechanic that she can use in Dominion.
Yeah, Lee Sin can safeguard to them, Jax can leap strike, a lot of other abilities can move you to them. We just saw that used for her to escape, getting far clear of Sapling Toss range in the process.
So that is a good play by her. And right now the Storm Relic is going to be taken, by Half-Hearted. He's going to be very strong, especially since they gave it to Kha'Zix. A lot more power on him, and he's going to be able to get more and more resets, and that's really the big thing we keep talking about a lot, is those resets on Kha'Zix. Those are the things that really let him do so much damage, and Commander Peoples almost getting caught out again, but a great ultimate is going to mitigate a lot of that damage. Mitsuru getting jumped on, half health right now. She's not going to be able to initiate as well as she wants, just going to go back into her own base.
Yeah, what happened to Katarina there is the exact reason why Kha'Zix is banned. he either hits someone so hard that he kills them or forces them out of the fight entirely. And he forced Katarina away, and Armor is getting forced back to the summoner platform. Nyx87 coming up from the bottom to help against Half-Hard as well. Xerath very far away from the fight, can't join it very easily to try and assist. Seeing the vision being used there, Nidalee Orc with an airboard, Supportal getting low and taken down, Peoples low as well. Cat with a double kill. Is she going to go for trips on BB Pop? I don't think she can connect in time. Ro4 picking up a kill on a retreating Leona, puts a lot of damage on Nyx as well. Ooh, good catch with the shot over the wall on Nyx87, putting a lot of hurt on him as well.
BB Bop doing a great job of winning these small engagements. Unfortunately, oh, the shock blast just barely misses. She won't take damage from that. The exhaust from Ro4 goes down on a Katarina, making sure that Mitsuru doesn't jump onto BB Bop and kill him. It looks like the entire fight will be disengaged at this point, and the entire time, the blue team Clueless were in control of the windmills, so they were able to take that advantage. And right now, they're about 60 points away. 60 points ahead, I should say, of the red team in this game so far, but it looks like nobody is making too many plays so far. It's worth noting that the objective is in the bottom. It's at the quarry and the boneyard, so we're going to expect to see a little bit more action right there. However, the usual laners down there have just sort of mixed it up a lot. We saw Vayne+Xerath are the ones staying down there, but they haven't really been there the entire game, but it looks like the Storm Relics will be the focus of the next fight.
And Commander Peoples in the back taking most of the damage as everyone else is further away from the enemy team. Solar Flare stun on Peoples. He goes down. BB Pop's still alive and just gunning away at the enemy team. There's a lot of damage that was put on Maokai that I feel could have gone anywhere else. And that you can jump through the relics also in the center of the map.
That's really strong, but BB Bop, ooh, the passive, giving him a lot of extra movement speed, able to catch up to Mitsuru and pick up the kill. Yeah, now, one thing I'm noticing in these fights is that nobody is really putting as much focus on BB Bop that they need to. Even though she's not a bruiser, Vayne does so much damage if you let her kite you around and keep the entire thing, just keep doing damage over and over and over. She's got such a huge source of sustained damage.
And BB Pop has been playing really good this entire game long. His Vayne has been maximum scare, 7-2-10 on the scoreboard, which is exceptional. And Commander Peoples, they're going to go ahead and let him get that. They're going to let him take
nobody
that.
Tried to stop him.
No, Wukong could have, but I guess he didn't want to get too close to Kha'Zix and risk being initiated on. Zenith Blade does not connect. Commander Peoples still in the back of the fight, taking all of the damage, though. And that gives BB Bop some time to deliver the damage as well. And you can't stealth away with that vision on you, BB Pop. I'm sorry. Tries to get away with the tumble, not able to do so. Great damage on Ro4 and Half-Hearted over the wall. Armor low on health. Zyra is able to see him. There's the Clairvoyance coming from Mad Supportal in order to highlight Jayce so that he could not get away through the brush, and that is going to enable Clueless to pick up the win in that fight.
I have to say, one thing that was really great about that engagement was that, okay, first of all, Golly decided to start focusing BB Bop, and that was the right decision in that case. However, Clueless, they had Ro4 sitting behind a wall the entire time. He used his Locus of Power and was able to land his ultimates on 3 members of Golly at the same time. They were grouping up a little bit too closely together to try to chase the Vayne, and they took so much damage that Half-Hearted just came in, cleaned up a little bit, and Mad Supportal finally picked up the kills. But Nyx in the bot lane going to go ahead and kill Ro4 at that point. So, unfortunately, a little bit of a loss there, and they might actually be able to take this objective. Kha'Zix doesn't really want to go in for it yet, but we do have BB Bop who's just about to show up.
And Nyx87 fighting with BB Pop and Half-Hearted. He is going to be defeated. Double check your timeline, because I just realized I was 2 seconds behind, and I just caught up. There was pause earlier, may have desynced us. So if you want to give that a check, I'm at 12:39, 12:40, 41, 42. Yep. Okay, cool.
Sync.
People's up at the top. Vengeful Maelstrom down on the tower, and that's a scary thing. You do not want to try and push into that when Maokai is set up in that position. Solar Flare slows BB Pop. BB Pop tries to tumble away. Nidalee Man condemned, and Mitsuru jumping through Nidalee to get to BB Pop. Wukong able to secure the kill. They had to stretch really hard in order to get to Vayne.
And at this point, the refinery is really the closest point, so they just decided to go for that, even though it's in the heart of the enemy base. I've already completely chunked someone down, And it looks like Wukong is going to try to go for the follow-up. Stunning armor, and it looks like he's not going to be able to stop them from capturing the refinery, but certainly able to push them off, and they're going to be able to recap this directly afterwards. Nidalee just going to back, doesn't want to try to force an initiation in the enemy team's, right outside of the enemy team's base. Meanwhile, Nyx going to try to kill Commander Peoples. That armor shred doing a very good job of reducing the armor he gets from Bulwark, and going back in for it with a nice dash, and it looks like the assault and battery coming out as well, but the exhaust mitigating so much of that damage. Commander People almost staying alive, but unfortunately Katarina, Mitsuru with a great ultimate, able to secure that as well.
And with Zyra there, it's going to make it a little bit difficult unless they get engaged upon off the point, which is a bad position for them to be in now. And there's the airborne solar flare. You can't get away because of the vision highlight from the, I believe it was the Grez's lantern used that time that highlighted Vayne, so you could see her while she was tumbling away in stealth. There's the clairvoyance, letting Mitsuru not lose vision on Zyra as Matt's portal tries to retreat. Clairvoyance, very useful spell. Vision at a premium in this game mode because there are no wards in Dominion.
Oh yeah, and that's really something that we've been seeing as a pretty common thing in this game, and Wukong almost catching out Nyx, and Nyx will actually get stunned for a little bit. See if they can go ahead and try to capitalize on that. And it looks like Half-Heart is coming through the wall, but he's not going to be able to be close enough to try to secure that kill. They're just going to chase it out a little bit and force them off of the Boneyard. They probably want to take this objective, and they will try for it. Half-Hearted being taken down really low by Nyx, however. Nyx with a lot of burst damage. Wukong doing a lot of damage himself, and there goes the exhaust. He will survive. Going back to get the relic, and one last Arcana Pulse snipe is not going to contact, and she's not going to take the relic, actually, just going to go back and heal up all the way and come back into the fight later. But you know, this bot lane, we're going to see a lot of action down here, and unfortunately neither point has been taken so far, but they need to do something to force this back into their favor. Golly getting caught out a little bit by Bebop. Bebop gets hit by the slow. Unfortunately, he's not close enough for the stun, so she's just going to be able to go away from that. Oh, they really want to deny her the Storm Relic. Bebop gets that, then that's really, really bad for them. Vayne with a Storm Relic is something that you don't want to see, and oh no, they're being forced off of it. Bebop has the Storm Relic now.
And Golly would want theirs, but they're not in a position where they can get it at the moment. Over by the Speed Shrine, Golly and Nidalee Orc low on health, and they're moving up towards the top point. Kha'Zix, having broken off to begin capturing the windmill, is going to try and take that back, but Ro4 finds Mitsuru 7, is able to put a lot of damage on her. Supportal and Nidalee Orc having a little bit of a disagreement, him low on health, but still finding ways to contribute to the fight. While this is all going on, Nyx A7 sees an opportunity to go for the bottom because Xerath has been up here for quite a while, and when you have that many people out of position in the top, the bottom point basically becomes free. So with all the time that Xerath spent up here in order to help the fight at the top, they had to lose the windmill in the exchange. Good Bebop backing off there. There's the Clairvoyance. Supportal, is he going to land that snare and help Bebop get away? No, it doesn't look like it connected. Unfortunately, Bebop is the flash going to get him out, and it did.
But Mitsurugi is right there to secure the double kill right afterwards. Commander People's taken down really low, and Mitsuru looks like he's wanting to pick up that kill as well. But no, Nyx is going to get it. However, Maokai is dead, and that's all that really matters. They're going to be able to take this point back into their favor. But at the same time, it's still going to be a 3-2 point score at this moment. But Nidalee Orc is in the top lane. He's going to try to neutralize the windmill. I think that's all he's going to have happen, as Half-Hearted wants to make something happen, make sure that he doesn't take this windmill either. Golly looking for a stun on top of that. Commander Peoples, however, here. And when you have a tank plus a Maokai, a tank plus a Kha'Zix, it's hard to 2v2 that combination right there. But now Armor is here as well. They're going to start fighting, but both Vayne and Zyra are on their way. There goes the Maokai ultimate. He's taking very little damage. Half-Hearted gets jumped on, but he's not taking too much damage himself. Golly is trying as best he can. Going to jump back into it, secure the kill right there. He's going to get the refresh, and jumping right onto Armor right afterwards, and he's going to get the kill onto him as well. No, Maokai gets that, and Mitsuru is the final kill. That's a 4-for-0 trade, and it looks like Clueless is going to be able to take that windmill once again, putting this back into a 3-2 advantage.
And that was a great exchange for Clueless. They did need that in order to get that point back, and that puts Golly at serious disadvantage for the next couple of moments as they have to get back on the field from being dead, whereas everyone else was able to just recall, so they'll be able to get back on the field earlier with better map position.
Yes, and let's take a look at some of the builds that we're seeing so far. So we see Wukong Black Cleaver, that's really standard no matter what. His ultimate procs multiple Black Cleaver procs, so that's something you always want. Nyx is just almost chunking down Half-Hearted right there. Unfortunately, he has too much armor for Half-Hearted to do damage to, but Commander Peoples in the top lane going to try to re-engage this fight. Mitsuru is on the run, however, and this is a really weird fight so far. Nothing too much has happened. Bibibop is still in the back line. There goes the ultimate. However, it will completely miss Bibibop as Commander Peoples goes in for a Twisted Advance as well as an Arcane Shift, and he's going to be able to let Bibibop reign free on the enemy team. There goes the Stranglethorn, only catching out Netherrare, but that's all she needed. She was just trying to get the zone out, and that zone really worked well in their favor. And now they have Golly on the run, and Half-Hearted comes in from the backline, picks up kill, gets the reset. It looks like he's going to try to go for another kill, gets the kill on Netherrare Arc, another reset, and there goes the third kill, triple kill on Half-Hearted on Kha'Zix. That is why this champion is banned.
Yes, with the resets, with the outrageous damage output, he can Pac-Man through a team very, very easily, and this might end the game, actually, with that last engagement going the way that it did. It's going to be a 4.5 cap in favor of Clueless for a little while, and Ro4 is going to be able to delay for a while on this bottom point because his range is just so long.
Oh, they want the 5 cap. They're going to kill Golly for it, and Golly, oh no, he's still alive. Half-Hearted not going to be able to do anything about it, and he's getting initiated on as well. He's going to be taken down by armor, and at that point, you know, they didn't get the 5 cap, but at the same time, even after these two towers go back into their advantage, it's going to be a 3-2. They're still in the lead, and they can still, basically, 248 to 34. Unless Golly makes a huge play, they're not going to be able to get back into it.
And Xerath unloading on armor right away. He has to back away from that fight as quickly as he can because his health is just so low. But Xerath's range, Xerath can reach you from another county using the sweeper to highlight the bushes so that he can't get in there. Trying to set up, can't get it, unfortunately, but Maokai may be able to secure this kill. They were able to take the drill while this was going on. Is Armor going to be able to survive? Not with that Vengeful Maelstrom there. He won't be able to kill Peoples while that was active. And
three left, 1 left, and this is going to be completely GG right there. Clueless taking another victory under their belts after they went 2-0 in the first series. Can they do it again against Golly? The first game, great game.
And there is going to be a second game. This is a best of 3. Clueless has to win 1 more to advance on to the finals, and Golly is going to need 2 in order to achieve the same.
Yes, and let's give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors right out there. Curse, LoLPro, Reign of Gaming, and Leaguepedia. Very good sites there. And catch the Dominion guides for LoLPro. Really useful over there. And in the meantime, while we wait for this next game to get set up, we're going to run a quick set of ads. Stay tuned.